it's taking the leap of faith in yourself and in your future that you will get where you want to get, you will get where you need to get. And instead of stressing about it in the present and spending all your energy overthinking, being anxious, what if you would take a deep breath, just sit with yourself and say, like, I will get there. Like, I will figure this out because everything is figure outable. So what are the actions I need to take right now to get there? And then just go and do those actions.
Sindi, it's so ironic to like talk to you because we talk like almost every day. Welcome to Chase the Possible.
Well, I'm glad you're having me here. It's my second time here, if I'm
Yeah,
not
this is second time, but technically have been in 3 episodes because the first time was cut up in like 3 parts when we talked about 70.3 Ironman journey.
Oh, yes. Am I the most visited guest of your podcast?
I mean, I would wish so, but nobody really cares about my races. They're not really that relevant, I think. Well, I haven't even like talked about half Ironman, so what I will do is I'm gonna put the link in description so people can even like go and check it out. What I want to start with is a question that I ask everybody, and I haven't heard your answer yet because last time you were more like a co-host kind of thing. No pressure. So what is one thing that at one point felt impossible for you and now is your new normal?
Oh my gosh. I think for me, it's being in business. It's something that I never saw myself entering. I was very opposed of the idea of being a freelancer, of running my own business, mostly because I just had seen some unsuccessful freelancers, and kind of the dark side of like trying to find the clients and all of that. And myself, I always thought I'm a very introverted person who doesn't like to chit chat too much. And here I am in a podcast. But yes, so it was very interesting to find myself in this place because asked me in high school and I was like, I would never do that. I want stability. I want 9 to 5. And then when I got those things, I was like, I want more. And then you know, things happened, and I just found myself in the middle of all of this, doing freelance work as a marketer first, and now as an OBM because that's the thing I'm best at, great at, and I love with deep passion. I mean, you hear me nerding out over tools every day.
I mean, I get them all the time. I'm like, how many tools are out there?
Too many. Oh, I know. So yes, that was my impossible. I'm still living it. And there's days when I'm like, why am I doing it? And most of the days I'm like, I just can't believe I'm doing it. Isn't this amazing?
It is interesting that you had this kind of negative, you saw the negative side of it, because I think a lot of times we see this like promoted online of like, oh, you should go and build business, you should do this, you should do that, and you see kind of the upside because nobody really want to show the downside or the failures unless they have had their big success. Then they're like, oh, I failed 7 times and no, this is my success. But you already saw that kind of the negative. What was the, I'm just curious with stepping into that, like starting your own business, what were some of the things that you think had to shift for you to even like entertain the idea?
I mean, the first thing that happened was before I even entertained the idea of doing a freelance work, was that someone reached out to me because they knew I had recently quit my job. I was taking some time rest before I look for new opportunities. So in that free space, they asked me to do some consultations. And I was like, okay, sure. Like I knew the person, I'm up for it. But that opened the space for me to be like, oh, you know, there might be people out there who might be interested in working with me. And from there, I just kind of things started to align. I met some more people who were interested in me helping them with the marketing. I got into these entrepreneurship classes, and I must say, though I had seen the dark side of freelance, I was still quite naive when I entered because
Yeah,
I had
we
my
all are, I
first
think.
successes. I had my first successes very early on. They were not big successes, but still, I had retainer clients straight off the bat in my first few months. And I was like, oh, this is pretty easy. Oh, naive little child. Um, and yeah, I think that's the only reason I got in, because I had those early successes. And then
Mm.
after I decided to shift my business, I decided to reorganize everything, let go of some of the clients, look for new, and I entered this kind of dry period and the real struggle. And also the mental game of like, when you're in the business, you wear all these hats. Yeah, because I had had that first taste of victory, I had an easier time to stick around, because I was like, no, I'm not ready to give up yet. No, I'm not ready to give up yet. And it also came because of my support system. I would say I have a great support system around me that has helped me to stay in this game mentally and financially. So yes, that's short my journey. I already forgot that question, but I hope I answered it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. I also forgot it. That, that's part of the conversation, I guess. Um, so kind of the idea that I had of what we could do today, since we usually, when we do meet up in real life, which we are in the same city at this moment, um, we kind of do more like co-working or like business conversations, things like that. But at the same time, I think once like often in between the work we exchange these like, oh, this idea that I came up with, or this quote, or this thing that I read, and we keep exchanging them on messages as well. And but I don't think we have had it where there's like I don't want to call it a session, but where we have like a conversation where we kind of like go back and forth, and that's kind of the idea that I had for this episode, is that I have written down a couple of like quotes or thoughts or things that I had. I went through like some screenshots that I haven't even looked at in like forever in my phone. That I pretty much, the idea is that I'm gonna bring them up and then we can kind of discuss, share our thoughts, and just go through a couple of those. The first one, which is the most recent one that I sent to you, I think. Do not kill the part of you that is cringe. Kill the part of you that cringes.
Yes, I remember when you sent me that. And I was not sure how I felt about it then, and I'm not sure how I feel about it now. I mean, the deeper message, I guess, is there. I just feel like for me, I don't know, it's lacking a little bit of self-love and, uh,
Oh, interesting. Because
yeah,
I think it came from a video about self love. I'm trying to remember where I found it. Um, Kind of, okay, my interpretation.
mhm,
I wish I would say I have context, but I don't remember. There's like many things that I watched in the last days where the idea is that instead of not killing, but it does say do not kill the part of you that is cringe. Instead of being hard on yourself about parts of you that are cringe, it's kind of like embrace that part of you. So embrace that part of you, own it. That's what makes you you, and that's what makes you kind of your unique being. And instead, you want to get rid of that part of you that cringes about that cringe part of you. So it's like you embrace your little quirks or your like unique things about you that in
mm.
some ways even make you stand out or make you a bit like different, instead of feeling like, oh, something is wrong with me, or like this is the thing that I don't like about myself, or I'm going to be judged for, or that's my interpretation of it.
I think I saw. I like your interpretation of it. And with that one, I could live it, because I'm all about like finding your authenticity and kind of, in a way, distancing yourself from the others' opinions to just go deep into your core and find out what things you love, what are things you love about yourself, and how you stand out. When I hear the word cringe and all of that, like
Hmm.
in that, first of all, not a big fan of the cringe word,
Yeah.
though I use it sometimes as well. Uh, But I saw an opposite video recently.
So it depends on what videos we watch.
Yes. So I align with that point of view more. So in that video, it said that we should cringe. Like, you should look back at the things you've done and cringe a little because of the growth you have
Yep.
experienced. So you can be proud of yourself, and you can look at your first YouTube video and be like, oh my gosh, I did that. And I believe I have some videos from high school with you as well on that topic.
Videos, pictures, plenty of stuff.
Exactly. So I'm more on like, you should cringe at yourself from time to time, but it shouldn't be like judgmental. It should be like, filled with laughter and nostalgia and be like, oh, I chose that outfit. I chose that hairstyle. And at the same time, I'm so glad I did it because I went for it. I went through this experimentation. I did something I thought would lead me to the path I want to go to. So I'm aligned with that more. But I'm also aligned with your interpretation. I just am not aligned with this quote as it's presented.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I do see that and I do agree with that because for me, even like it's kind of like this aspiration or goal every year. If I look at myself at the beginning of the year, when I'm at the end of the year, I want to look back and be like, ew, like, like feel a bit cringe of like the way I was thinking, the way I was like kind of approaching things, because it kind of like the more cringe you feel, the more of growth has happened, or the bigger the gap is between kind of who I was and who I am today. But also, I think I think it really depends on what is interpreted as that like part of you that you cringe about. Because I think in in my interpretation, it was the part of you that maybe can be perceived as cringe by others, where whereas like it might be genuinely part of you. It might be something that like I don't know, you're like passionate about, like crocheting or something, and you feel like, oh, this is like, or you might have learned from others that you are perceived as like cringe for being this way, but it genuinely feels like a part of you. So instead of feeling cringe about that thing, or like what is it, the part of you that cringes, instead of giving it power, kind of embrace that, like, yeah, this is one of the things that I like it's kind of like part of me. But I think it's very interesting how differently we can interpret things, because I agree with both, like with myself and with you. So it's like obvious. Okay, let me find another one. I have quite a few. Actually, I'm gonna ask the one that you sent me recently. I think it was this morning, actually.
Okay, what did I send you? Okay.
What would I do if I fully trusted myself?
Yeah, it was this morning. Oh wait, I have my sticky note here.
Yep.
Because I decided to ask it several times today. I mean, it goes to the same topic, doesn't it? Like, it's still about finding your way of authenticity, of who you are, and embracing it. It's exactly how you talked about, like the crocheting. My first thought is, first, you like this imaginary person is surrounding herself with the wrong kind of people. Because I know even in Tallinn, we have an amazing crocheter. I think that's the word. People who crochet. Oh, God.
Crochet.
Crochet.
I'm also guessing here, by the
way. So you just need to find your people. But on the what would I do if I fully trusted myself, I think for me it kind of goes deeper. It's taking the leap of faith in yourself and in your future that you will get where you want to get, you will get where you need to get. And instead of stressing about it in the present and spending all your energy overthinking, being anxious, which, as you know, I tend to do a lot.
Same.
What if you put that aside? What if you would take a deep breath and just sit with yourself and say, like, I will get there. Like, I will figure this out, because everything is figure outable. So what are the actions I need to take right now to get there? And then just with cool head, go and do those actions.
I'm thinking, what is it that gets in the way of trusting yourself? because you do make different decisions when you trust yourself versus you don't trust yourself.
In my opinion, I think there's several of elements in place. One is if you've ever broken the trust with yourself, if you made a deal with yourself and then you didn't follow through. Like you said, you will work out 5 hours and then you worked 2 hours that day. um, and
They.
and then also, I think there's definitely part in your upbringing, what was your environment growing up? Were you encouraged to trust yourself? Were you encouraged to more fit in, or were you encouraged to find your way? I think in my case, I was encouraged more to fit in, just kind of blend in with the rest, be in this certain box. And that made me lose some of that trust in myself. Because, if I didn't fit in that box, then there were repercussions. I mean, nothing serious, but
Mm-hmm.
someone just glancing at you the wrong way, someone being like, why did you introduce yourself like that? Or, this is like, it's the little things, but they might have added up. And if you didn't have this, safe, protective environment around you that was nurturing to you, that was encouraging you to trust yourself and take the steps you feel like you need to take, with having the full support behind you, I feel like we lose it, because I think when we're born, like, we don't have those stuff. Like, we trust ourselves. We try to walk. We try to crawl. It hasn't registered us. We just like try doing things because we're mimicking others and we want to be like that person. And then later on, when we started going to school and all of that, then I believe most of us start losing some of that trust, and it's hard to regain it. And you need to be conscious about the level of trust you have, and how much you would need to work to regain it fully.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said about the encouraged to fit in, because I wrote that I was thinking like, was I encouraged to fit in? Maybe, but I wrote down that I was aware I didn't. It's kind of like, I don't know if I probably was encouraged to fit in, because I was like, it was like about getting good marks and all those things. So like I feel like there was that encouragement, or it was more like that's just like the standard. It's just like the way it's supposed to be in some ways. But I was aware that I don't fit in.
Mm.
So even like with that, it's like going through that journey where you're aware that like in some ways you're different, and how to trust yourself when it's kind of like that your environment in some ways is against you, and and especially if it's like authority, like your family, or at some points it might even be like your peers in like
Mm.
teenage years, where it's like I don't fit in but it seems like majority is in the right, and
Mm.
then kind of trusting that and still doing what feels right to you. And if you don't do what feels right to you and you try to mold yourself into being somebody else, then it's like, okay, you come out of it being unable to trust yourself. And and even like with rebuilding the trust, I think what helped me was just kind of what you said about like at some point you broke trust yourself, so you need to build it up like with anybody else. So when you say you're gonna do something, you go and do it, and then you do it probably enough times where you're like, huh, like when you say you're gonna do something, you don't have this voice in the head of like, yeah, right, like, sure, you're gonna do 5 hours of workout. So it's kind of like having enough of those steps or enough of that proof that you give yourself to get to the point where you say you're gonna do something and you actually know like I am going to do it. And it also, I think it's not like one and done. Like it doesn't
No.
take much to break it again.
May I add
Yeah.
to what you shared about high school? I think it also comes for the comfort. Like, even if you know that you don't fit, and we both didn't really fit in, we just like dealt with it in different ways.
Yep.
Um, it was, it's the familiarity. Like, okay, I don't fit in. This is what it is. But it's still easier to try to follow the others' guidelines and trying to follow our peers or teachers, or parents, the family, all of those advices, because we are so young, we don't know anything in life yet. And if you don't have that support and encouragement to be like, okay, go and try and see how you like. And life is too short for you to feel stuck in this space. So, like, go try football for a month. And if you don't like it, go quit. We're going to be here to support you nonetheless. I feel like that
Yeah.
mentality is lacking. Yeah.
Yeah, there is something about having that safe space to explore and also fail.
Yeah.
Uh, because it's I don't know if I had the safe space or maybe I learned because I know I didn't really feel like, oh, I can go and fail.
Yeah.
I can go and try things. It was like, okay, if I try, I need to be exceptional day one, even if
Mhm.
it's I have never done it before.
Well, you
So
were a straight A student. So
yeah, and it's kind of like it's not the way it works in reality when you build new skills. Like even now, like I still struggle with like starting new things where even this like new office space that I went to, like the day that I was going, first of all, I procrastinated for a day. But then when I was going there, I'm like, oh, like I will not know anybody. I don't know what's there. I don't know what would I do? Like there's all these like thoughts and anxiousness coming up where I'm like, this is where you expand your comfort zone. Or now like it's pretty much my comfort zone. But that first moment leading up to it, it's like, oh, like my like straight A student mind is like, I can't predict. I don't know. I'm not in control. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. that's that's life, and that's kind of that kind of exposure therapy that that I
Mhm.
try to put myself through, as much as my nervous system allows. um, next one. Sit with discomfort rather than solve it.
What a perfect segue. I mean, it's like we just talked about it. I feel like it covers, yeah, I agree with the sentence. It's true. I think it's just exactly as you said at the end. It's about how much your nervous system allows you. You shouldn't go from like 0 to 100 in my experience. You should take baby steps. I'm all for like going out of discomfort, yes, theory and all of that. But I do think most of us tend to jump from one space to another. And then when you're exposed to too many things too quickly, you kind of, it can go, probably will go, maybe not everybody, but at least people I know close to me, you just like, you shut down. If it's too big, then you're not going to repeat it again. So I'm all for exposing yourself to small discomforts over bits of pieces of time. And when you feel more ready, then taking those brave leaps that you think you might be like, okay, maybe this is too much, but I'm still going to try and experiment. And then afterwards, I'm going to give myself the grace I need and the space I need to recharge and rest from that. And just analyze of like, okay, how did it go? Was it too much? Was it not? Was it too big of a leap? Was it not? And you will only know about your limits. And I'm not saying the limits, that's the ceiling you will have always, but in the beginning, what are your limits
Yeah,
of this
current
and how
limit.
much? Exactly, current limit of how much your nervous system can take before it requires a shutdown system reboot.
Mm-hmm.
You will know it through experimentation. Like there's going to be times when you go and it's too much, and then you just like, your body might just show that you have cold for a week and you just spend a week in bed, and in reality you're just recharging from that thing that happened. And sometimes you go and the next day you're fine and you're like, wow, I'm surprised, like these kind of things were so difficult to me 3 months ago, but now it's like my fourth networking event, and I don't feel stressed at all.
It's interesting because that sitting with discomfort rather than solving it. For me, the first thought was like, that is so uncomfortable to just sit with it.
Yes.
Like, like until you get familiar even with what it is to sit, because I think what happens is we get so used to suppressing
Mm,
and distracting ourselves from our bodies, our emotions, and all those things, where sitting with it is the last thing. It's kind of like that's the opposite of what you would kind of not even want to do, but in the moment you automatically do. And that's where, like, for me, even having that as a reminder that not always I need to go and fix everything. Maybe I just need
mm,
to have like a couple of minutes where I'm just sitting, doing nothing, and just being with myself. And and it's something that initially there's like all this like turmoil inside of you, and you're like, "Ugh, shit, I don't like to and it's kind of like you even like feel a bit like restless. You want to kind of escape it, and sitting with it and getting not even comfortable. I don't think you get comfortable with it, but just getting comfortable with like the thought of doing that as something that you can do, where you have that power to just be with it instead of I need to go and solve. I need to do this. I need to do that. How do I speed this up? Or how do it's kind of like you never actually stop and like sit with it. And even with that, you might not even identify what's the real discomfort here. What's the real problem here? Like it's kind of like you feel this sense of like urgency towards something, and it's like, oh, I need to go fix this. I need to solve this, and it's like, what is the actual problem here? Maybe instead of fixing the problem, maybe you feel incompetent and you need to sit with it.
yeah, disregard my previous meeting, my previous message.
No,
I
that
went
was very good.
no, but it went too much into like the exactly like the solve mode into like going
No, but
into taking
that's where
action.
like I think there's a balance between the two, but because you
But
can't
your
just always
quote is
sit.
not that. Your quote is not that. I mean, I agree, but the quote was more
And
about sitting.
you did the perfect segue from the getting out of comfort zone into this. So
Okay, okay. Well, thank you. That will help me sleep better. Um, at least I'm not gonna overthink on this today.
no way.
But I think how you said it is very well, because I think most of the people, when you hear about the discomfort, and again, I'm just talking from my experience, the people around me, you
But
would
it's also
think about the
marketing, I think.
actions you take. Yes, exactly. Like it's straight away about the actions you take, the actions you do to put yourself out there. But when you're out there, you're just in the moment. So when you come out of it, do you still sit with that discomfort? Or even when you're in it, like you're middle of a networking event, do you take a moment and just look in your body and see what's happening? So yes, I think that we don't do it enough. And I've tried to do it a few times because it is annoying thing to do.
Mhm.
It is uncomfortable and no one likes to sit in
Yep.
that rut. Um, but the few times I've done it, I can see the effects, and I don't think it ever gets easier. I can't, well, maybe, but at the moment, I can't imagine that you get used to the feeling, because it's so opposite of what your body wants. Your
I
body
think
wants it to feel
that's
safe and comfortable. And if you sit in that moment, there's, especially in the beginning, it's the worst. When you sit, yes, and you become present, then that feeling changes. And then it's like, okay, I can be here. But to allow yourself to go into that place, it's like doing the cold dips in water. It's like if you put your feet at the ice water and you're like, shit, I'm going in
not
this.
even ice water. You just get outside, like just outdoor. Even before you touch the water, you're like, oh, this is cold. Just the air is cold.
True. And then you see the hole that you have made in the ice and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go in it. And it's against all of my instincts. And I feel like that's the same when you're trying to face like in that case, you
Mm.
face the physical discomfort. And I feel like that's the same when you try to sit down and face this internal discomfort. It's like, I'm looking at ice water. Am I gonna just go inside and be like, okay, I quit it for today? Or am I gonna get into the water and sit into the water and let myself feel those feelings and look at where those feelings are coming from, or not?
That's a very good way to describe it, because it's kind of like intentionally choosing that discomfort. And ironically, that discomfort comes not from doing, but from being,
Mm-hmm.
kind of just being in it instead of trying to go and do something about it, which also like that interpretation of discomfort a lot of times is about doing. It's kind of like go and do this thing, like exposure therapy, do this stuff, like get out of your comfort zone, which it is a good thing and it does help. And I think similar to that, getting out of your comfort zone through actions you take with like exposing yourself to new environments, situations, people, and all that. It's similar with emotions as well. Like what you said about it doesn't feel easier, but I feel like it expands of what like some emotions maybe right now might feel hard, and at some point they don't feel as hard, but there's the next hard that comes in. It's kind of like you expand that comfort zone of your capacity to even feel and be with your emotions, because sometimes it's so much that it's like I just can't take it. I need to go do something, or I need to distract myself, or I need to use one of my coping mechanisms to like, I don't know, numb myself, distract, whatever. And at the same time, it is it is something that it definitely hasn't been my kind of natural go-to solution to just sit with it. It's like, oh, I feel anxious. Let's just sit with it. Let's just sit with this like feeling that I don't want to feel right now. And I just gotta sit with it. It's like, it's so uncomfortable.
And I think it takes a lot of energy. So I
Yeah,
am for like, you should do this, but I'm also, again, don't go into the extremes. Like, you
don't
don't
force
have
it.
to do it every time. Like, sometimes your body needs the escape, and that's okay. Like, it means that you're going through changes. Like, your body needs more rest. Your body's already processing so much in the background that it's like, I can't handle another thing you're putting like yourself through. So I'm all for practicing it. I'm just, you know, don't I would not recommend you to start like, okay, now I'm gonna do it every single time. I
Yeah.
think you're just gonna exhaust yourself. At least it's my experience that when I do this too much, then I need to take 2 days of rest and be away
Because
from
like I
everything.
feel like then it's kind of the thought that I had there is like don't force it, because then if you force it, now it becomes this performance thing again. And it's
Mm,
kind of losing its point then.
yeah,
The point is
yeah.
not to perform with it. It's kind of like sometimes yes, you'll be able to sit with it. Sometimes you need to like distract yourself or do something else as you go through this process, because like emotions can be like a lot. um but I feel like if it's now this like every day I need to go and I need to sit and feel, now you're performing, you're not actually, it's kind of like you're losing the point.
Yes, and if you do it just because of the point of doing it, like, oh, I'm gonna sit and feel right now. Well, you might not feel anything in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I have time. Like, now come to me.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's not how
so
emotions work.
exactly. So I think that's just one of the ways of dealing with yourself and trying to understand yourself. I think taking a time away, numbing yourself for a bit so the emotions become less overwhelming, and then revisiting what happened
Hmm.
in your mind. That's another coping mechanism, and both are valid. I think they need to go hand in hand. You should never
Yep.
go to like doing only one thing, doing the other thing. But both of those mechanisms will teach a lot about yourself to yourself.
So interesting. I feel like we even have this theme going on here, like discomfort with action, then discomfort with like sitting with your emotions, all the cringe stuff, trusting yourself. Last one that I want to touch on today. Fear comes from inexperience, not incapability.
Hmm. Bringing the big guns out for the last one. Fear comes with.
From inexperience, not from incapability.
See, I would want to say yes and agree, but, but,
Hmm.
I also think it's not true for everybody. It's definitely true for me. I do get very anxious when I'm doing things the first time, or if I'm doing some repeated thing that receives some negative feedback, which is like, it's great to get feedback and get lessons, but at the same time, my nervous system is like, ooh, but you don't know how to really do this the right way, do you? And it will only happen when I try to do it. Yet I do think that there's a lot of confident people with a lot of audacity who don't feel it that way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. I do believe them. I would assume they feel some fear, but not to the extent probably that I do. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they just go and do it. So for me, this is like, it's a quote that fits a niche kind of
Yeah.
people compared to the other quotes, which I felt like, okay, yes, this is like very general quote. It can be applicable to everyone, because it's yeah, I don't think it's always the case.
Yeah, I agree. Like with the people that are fearless, like first of all, it doesn't even apply to them because it starts with fear. It's like they are out of the window straight away. But I do like the thought of it's kind of like what Leila Hermosi said, you will never feel ready to do something you had never done before or something that you do for the first time. So naturally, I can't say naturally because of the fearless people comment, but but with us other people, naturally,
Just mere mortals, yes.
yeah, I naturally gonna feel fear. Example with going to that office. Is there anything to fear? No, but I felt like anxious, a bit afraid, and there's like some of the like unknown, and it wasn't because I'm not capable to go in and walk up the stairs. I just haven't experienced it before. And I also think that the being incapable or being inexperienced, they kind of go hand in hand because the more experience you have, the more capable you are. The more capable you are, the less you doubt yourself. And the less you doubt yourself, the less afraid you are about your like abilities or capabilities, ability to show up and do the thing. So it's kind of like I think the hardest part of this whole thing is starting the action. It's that new thing that you're not experienced in because there's so much unknown and you have all the reasons to be uncertain, to be afraid, to feel incompetent because you actually are. Like you actually haven't done the thing. And especially if you're somebody who is like self-critical that I can kind of identify as or like having some like harsh like inner critics, then you can be aware that like yeah I don't know this, I have never done it, but you can still have that like fear or being like oh like you like how can you not know, it's like, and then you have to have these conversations, well this is the first time that we're doing it. You literally have to go back and forth with yourself and remind those things, but I think it's for me, I know that it's been the initial step of starting the action that you haven't done before, that there can be fear of like, what will happen? What will be the outcome? You don't have the experience or capacity or what's the word? Capability yet. Um, I think that's where I would see for me the fear comes up, but then the more experienced I am, the less of the fear I have.
I get distracted by the fact that you have notes and I have nothing to look at. So you can go back to your quotes and I need to keep them in my mind,
That's
which
a
I
note
feel
for the
like
next time.
it's unfair. So,
I'm
but
sorry.
yes,
What a bad host I am. I was like, I will get everything prepared so you don't have to do anything.
clearly not.
uh,
That's just how my mind works. But yes, I agreed on your point. And I love it that people who've made the decision to do like deep self work and deep healing, they will understand this so much of like the inner conversations you have, the
Oh
different
yeah.
voices you have. I mean, I have shared with you before, but I'm doing the morning pages now, but from the book Artist's Way, and I write with my left hand now, and I'm becoming more and more proficient in writing with my left hand when I talk as my inner critic, because then I'm like, I write everything down with the left hand. It looks like some demon has possessed my hand. I mean, most of it is unreadable. I only know what to answer because the conversation happened in my mind. And then with my right hand, I write everything back. I'm like, especially the critic, it's like, she's swearing a lot. She's very angry. Doesn't like to listen. Uh, just being
Yep.
uh, a female dog. And then, I need to be this rational therapist adult who's like, I'm listening to you. I hear your concerns, but here are the reasons why I disagree with you. And let me list out these reasons with this evidence from past things we have participated at and done and gone through. So we can address each and one of your concerns against this list. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing, having these voices in your head, and it does not sound crazy at all.
At the very least, it keeps our life interesting.
Yep.
There's always somebody to talk to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's like, if I'm honest, there's several voices. This is just like two. There's like,
Yeah.
we have a group, like a circle. It's a internal group therapy there with many me's in many
Mhm.
formats. Yeah, I'm never bored. Yeah, to say the least. It's just never boring.
Yeah, and it's interesting also that each of them they have different kind of personality.
Oh yes. Oh yes. They have different personalities, they have different voices. In my experience as well, because well, we speak in English in our day-to-day lives, in our work, like our lives are centered around English language, although it's not our native language. So the voices in the head as well. Oh my God, the voices in the head. Um, Luckily, I think your podcast audience is the one that understands this, and doesn't want to send us to psych wards. But the voices in the head, when you are a multilingual person, you have them in many languages. I have a child version of me that speaks mostly Latvian. I have a very young child version that doesn't speak much. Um,
Mm.
I have a teenage self that switches between English and Latvian, and depends on the mood of it, and also where I'm at in that moment. Because most of my healing journey has happened in English, so having these rational
Mm.
conversations is easier for me in English. But then there's moments when I do need to switch, and I do need to try to find perfect right words in my native language to comfort this part of me or address this part of me and go through this journey of me. And because tried different types of therapy, and one of them is internal family systems as well, which I think is so fun. For a creative like me, it's the best, because like you make little movies in your head.
Yep.
And I also have parts that don't look like me, but they are me. So you have both this change of language, the change of voice, the change of age. And in my case, there's also a change of visuals, that one part is very small and the other part is very big. And it's just like grotesque. And that visual also tells for you a lot about that part of yourself, about that part of you that you have maybe oppressed, haven't talked enough with. So yeah, it's as I said, it's never boring. If I'm bored, I just go in my mind, and there's like levels. There's a Christmassy house with the children, and
Of
there's
course,
a
Christmas
beach
there.
where I can, of course, beach where I can chill. So whenever you're bored, if you're in self-healing journey, then just go in your mind, and it's always fun there. Well, it might be a bit uncomfortable, but it's fun.
Yep, yep. All right, well, that's the episode. Any closing thoughts or comments?
That I should not have used this riverside background because there's moments when I look bald. So I apologize in advance to the audience. I'm not bald, as you can see. It's just
We have the proof. We have the proof.
and it also made my hands disappear. Like okay, yeah. No, at some points I just had the ghost hands, but now, of course, when you're looking, it works.
Yeah, that's how it
Other
works.
than that, bringing myself back to the topic, I think you shared about the theme. I think the theme for today was more on self-love and self-healing. Because I feel like although we talked about the discomfort and challenges, all of that comes from a place of trying to understand yourself, and that comes from just wanting to be the full whole version of yourself. So those are my closing thoughts. Thank you
Love
very
it.
much.
Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing your wisdom. And I'll see you everybody in the next episode.